You don't cut off family because you're heartless. You cut off family when staying connected keeps breaking the part of you that's trying to live. People turn it into slogans: blood, duty, gratitude, but you know what it feels like when blood becomes a rope around your ribs. This is about the inner reality of that decision, the guilt that follows, the relief that shocks you, and the grief of realizing the family you needed never truly existed. Walking away is not a clean ending. It's loyalty tearing in two directions. One part of you still wants a mother's softness, a father's protection, a clan that would finally see you without twisting you. Another part has learned that closeness can be a doorway back into the same wounds. So you leave with two truths in your hands: you miss them, and you can't keep losing yourself to them. It usually begins long before the final cut. You endure. You adapt. You speak in gentler and gentler language. You become more careful, more understanding, more quiet. And still, every visit extracts something from you. You drive there with your shoulders tight. You step into the familiar smell of the house: old cooking oil, detergent, stale warmth, and your body becomes younger without your permission. Your voice changes. Your eyes scan. Your nervous system remembers. A comment arrives casually. About your choices, your tone, your attitude. It's wrapped in humor, which makes it impossible to confront without being accused of ruining the mood. You smile the survival smile. You swallow the sentence that would be true. You tell yourself, again, that this is normal. This is family. Then you go home, close your door, and something inside you drops. You sit on the edge of your bed and feel the old question rise like nausea: why does it hurt this much if it's supposed to be love? The pain is often a pattern. Good news gets met with silence or a correction. Boundaries get treated like betrayal. Private things become public stories. You're welcomed, but only if you play the version of yourself that keeps the family comfortable. At some point you realize you're stepping into a mythology where you were assigned a role years ago, and the script doesn't change even when you do. This is where guilt starts to feel like law. There are invisible rules you learned early: be good and you'll be loved, stay quiet and you'll belong, forgive quickly and you won't be abandoned. These rules don't live in your thoughts, they live in your body. So when you imagine pulling away, it doesn't feel like a boundary. It feels like exile. A primitive part of you still believes the clan is oxygen. It whispers, if you leave, you will be alone forever. If you leave, you're ungrateful. If you leave, you deserve whatever they say about you. That voice is not reason. It's an old survival spell. This is where the archetypal layer appears, quietly, like a second room behind the first. In a Jungian sense, family is more than the outer people. It's an inner structure made from your earliest bonds. You carry an inner mother and an inner father, images that live inside your chest. Even if you cut contact, those inner figures can keep speaking. You hear it when you doubt your own memory, when you apologize for taking up space, when you feel a small, ugly shame for needing distance. And there is another figure, the inner clan. A chorus that asks, not, are you safe, but, are you loyal? It keeps peace by demanding silence. So cutting off family is never only about leaving a house. It's about confronting that inner chorus and choosing, maybe for the first time, to disappoint it. People who haven't lived this will say, why didn't you just talk it out? But you know the difference between conflict and conversation. In some families, naming harm is treated like violence. The moment you speak honestly, you become the problem. So you tried softer words, then fewer words, then silence, then distance, until you realize that distance is still a relationship if it's full of fear. Eventually, something in you stops bargaining. It might be a boundary you set that gets mocked. A private confession that gets used against you. A crisis where you needed support and received performance. Or another familiar blow-up where you feel it in your bones, I've been here before. My body cannot do this again. The decision arrives as a hard, quiet clarity: if I stay, I disappear. Then comes the aftermath. Relief first, clean, almost shocking. Your stomach unties. Your sleep deepens. The constant dread fades. And then grief arrives, grief for the people and grief for the fantasy. You mourn the comfort that didn't come, the protection that had conditions, the love that demanded you shrink. You miss the version of you who still believed home could be safe. This grief is complicated because it carries a forbidden wish: I wanted you to be different. I wanted to belong without shrinking. Inside you, that wish belongs to a tender part, the lover, the one who still longs for shelter. Beside it stands another part, the protector, steady and exhausted. The protector isn't cold. It's loyal. It learned that love without safety becomes self-erasure. The protector says, quietly, we are done bleeding for belonging. And then your shadow begins to move. The anger you were never allowed to have. The simple truth that what happened mattered. Your shadow is not cruelty, it's your life force returning to you. It's the part that refuses to keep calling mistreatment family. This is why cutting off family can feel like becoming someone else. You are not becoming worse. You are becoming less trained. Still, guilt lingers. It's the last thread the old world keeps tied to your ankle. You feel it when you have a good day and think, I should tell them. You feel it when you see another family laughing and envy cuts through you. You feel it when you imagine their faces and the old reflex rises to fix everything, to explain, to make it okay. Sometimes guilt is misnamed loyalty. Sometimes it's the fear of being cast as the villain in a story you didn't write. The small inner shift begins when you stop begging the inner clan for permission to survive. You turn toward the part of you that still thinks exile equals death. You don't promise perfection. You offer a simple truth: we can build a home that doesn't hurt us. You let yourself feel the heartbreak of not being protected. You let yourself feel the rage of being reduced to a role. You let yourself feel the tenderness you kept handing away as proof that you deserved love. This is not a shining moment. It's more like rearranging a room. Imagine the long family table, polished by years of expectation. Your old seat is there, carved into the wood. For a long time you believed leaving meant abandoning the table forever. But what if the deeper act is this: you stand up, you lift your chair, and you carry it into a different room. A smaller table. A quiet window. A candle that belongs to you. And around that table you allow a new kind of kinship, blood when it is safe, and soul when it is true. People who can hear, know, without making it a crime. Some nights you will still hear the old house in your head, footsteps in a hallway, a door closing too hard, your name spoken with meaning underneath it. When you hear it, you don't have to run back. You can simply notice, the past is knocking. Then you return to your own floor under your feet. You breathe into the space you fought to create. You let the room stay quiet. There is an empty chair in your life now where family used to sit. You don't have to fill it with noise. You can place a small light on the table and let the emptiness be honest. Not a punishment. A boundary that became a doorway. And slowly, in a way no one applauds, you begin to belong to yourself.